in 2 inches. That's 2 inches in height. But the average kitchen doesn't, because you still go for the same height of the worktop, you still go for the same height to reach the cupboards. Consequently, an older person won't be able to reach the top of the cupboard. There are good designs available whereby you can adjust the height of the worktop. Some of the manufacturers are already designing in this country, and I think that is a very good start.
The Thousand Elders seal of approval is a wise old owl. The first owl has been awarded to a new bath.
I'd like you, when you get in a bath next time, Sue, to realise which parts of the body you use to get out of the bath. Because Carradine Twyford have done that. And they've incorporated all these ideas from the elders in the bath and produced a product that they can all use. Because we tested it with 60 of them. Now, if you sit on there, Margaret, use your grip hand there, and then use your hand to attach yourself to the other rail. Yeah. Now take one leg over. Right, you're in, you can turn around and change your grip. That's it. Slide round on the seat and down onto the first bit. Move yourself round onto the next level. Yeah. Then down into the manufacturers and the rest of the population have assumed they know what's best. And when we've taken groups of elders to look at different products or retirement housing or kitchen equipment or microwaves, we found out that the manufacturer hasn't even thought of the people that are going to use his product.
Kay is 80, but it's not only the elderly that get frustrated.
You're ready to tear your hair out sometimes. You just struggle, and I've sat there for half an hour trying to open some things or do some things because of partly I hadn't been able to see them, partly because my hands wouldn't do it. Many a time I've had a cheese sandwich instead of a corned beef one, until somebody calls and will open it for me.
When we become old, we do have problems in turning our wrist because of rheumatology or rheumatic diseases. And we also have problems with dexterity. Consequently, we won't be able to open a packet very easily. We won't be able to turn the tap easily, or we won't be able to turn the lock easily.
Now the elders can visit 2 experimental homes built in Birmingham as an ongoing research project in good design and practical ideas.
To switch the light on, we've got a remote control, so you can actually do it from your armchair.
Designed for the old in their 3rd age, and you include the young. These homes will be monitored for heating costs, design faults and general living standards. The elders took a critical look at everything, from plugs to the jacuzzi. There's even a built-in barbecue and a new version of the old-fashioned gas light.
You probably remember, but the slight difference is they're very easy to turn on now. It's just a little valve here, which you turn on. And straight away.
The jacuzzi, I think, is a very, very good idea, but if elderly people live in there, I can't see them getting up the steps into the jacuzzi.
I'd find it a bit small with my husband and myself. I think for one person it would be big enough, quite big enough. I think for 2 people there wouldn't be a hobby room for either of you.
Well, I think they might as well be open plan, because there's so much internal glass that privacy's lacking anyway.
People that have been round today seem pretty critical of quite a number of the features.
Well, we're not concerned about that. I mean, that's the whole idea of the project. Really, the houses as they stand now is just the beginning of the project. And we've listened to a lot of opinion and ideas already, and we've tried to incorporate as many as possible. But as people come round, as the 1,000 elders come round and see the houses and point out things that possibly could be done better, we'll be looking at ways of incorporating those ideas.
The house isn't an end, it's a beginning. It's a beginning so that in 5 years' time we will be able to say to architects and to builders, this is the type of house that people want as a retirement property.
So many things in a house is designed for a right-handed, 5'10" male, you know, it's really designed for a very small part of the population. Why not let's design everything so that everybody can use it?
My voice on its own is no good at all. But as a corporate body, I think a great deal can be done. I think notice is being taken.
70-year-olds make fantastic contributions because they've got the experience. They've had to adapt to their change in lifestyle. But we also need people of 55. I'd love to think, as the result of this programme, I was inundated with applications to join the 1,000 Elders, because we can only do the work we would like to do with their help.
Well, obviously, and there are obviously more than 1,000 elders by now, considerably more. And if you want to join up, then just drop us a line, and we're going to send you the Not Born Yesterday fact pack. So here's the address. Get scribbling. It's Not Born Yesterday, P.O. Box 300, Liverpool, L69, 3NR.
Well, still to come, the nation's weather with that sage of the seaweed, Fred Talbot, plus the results of our phone poll on what you think of the ECU. I can tell you that our switchboard is in absolute meltdown. And the results of our royal makeover. Have we changed the Queen's image? But right now it's the news from Brenda Rowe.
Thank you. Michael Heseltine's local party appears to have rejected the former Tory Defence Secretary's criticisms of Mrs Thatcher. It sent a letter to Mr Heseltine, who's in Israel, saying it supports the present leadership of the Tory party. American Secretary of State James Baker has arrived in Egypt for talks with President Mubarak. He wants to reach agreement over a military command structure in the Gulf. He's already reached agreement with Saudi Arabia. The Chief Inspector of Prisons has made a scathing attack on the conditions at Armley Jail in Leeds. 6 young inmates have committed suicide there in the past 2 years. At least 8 people died this morning when between 80 and 100 cars and lorries crashed in dense fog on a motorway in Holland. The pile-up happened on the Rotterdam to Antwerp highway near Breda. A further 25 people were injured. News at 1 is next from ITN, but from me, goodbye.
Hello again, now the news from Central. There's been a massive explosion in Cradley Heath in the Black Country. 4 people were taken to hospital with burns after the blast at MJL Meats in James Scott Road. One is a director of the company.
Part of the building collapsed and 20 factories were evacuated after the blast. Firemen used a special explosives meter which detects dangerous gases in the air and brought in thermal image cameras to search the building. One of the injured men lit a cigarette and there was an explosion. A hole was found in the gas main.
The people who are injured, how are they?
Well, we've just heard from the hospital that one of them has been detained for a couple of days, and I suspect the others are probably in much the same condition.
Members of the Lecturers' Union, NATV, are staging a series of half-day strikes today across the region. A picket by members of the union has been set up outside Birmingham Polytechnic and other colleges in support of a pay and conditions claim. The lecturers have been sent letters from their employers warning them of the consequences of strike action. The Health and Safety Executive has ended its investigation into a chemical fire at a Birmingham factory which caused highly flammable vapours to be released into the air.
The report says the fire at Birmingham Powder Coatings in Sturchley was caused by a failure to maintain the correct mix of chemicals in a storage tank. Many people were evacuated from their homes and one person was detained overnight in hospital. The report says mustard gas was not generated in the chemical mix, but small quantities of phosgene could have been released. The company says it's removed tanks and chemicals from the factory, and the paint stripping process is no longer being carried out there.
Aston Villa flew out of Birmingham this morning for tomorrow night's second leg UEFA Cup tie against Inter Milan. Villa will be defending a 2-0 lead in the San Siro Stadium. They'll be accompanied by around 1,600 supporters who are also making the trip to Italy. And you can see the match live on Central at 7:30 tomorrow evening. And that's all for now. We'll be back in an hour's time at 5 to 1.
Welcome back this morning. We were discussing the hard echo in the phone-in, and during the news I dropped the echo into the coffee cup and it's very hard indeed. It broke it cleanly in half. You know, wear out a lot of pockets. Fred, let's have the weather.
Good morning to you. What have I got for all of you in the north of Scotland today? Well, really a lot of cloud around, but for most of you it will be dry. Possibly just the whole smattering in eastern parts. Further west we come, it will stay dry, and you never know, in the outside island, you might even get a glimpse of the sun, if you're very lucky. Temperatures not high though, and tonight down into the minuses. For southern Scotland, again much the same. The best of the weather probably in the west. Further east we go, more in the way of cloud, a calm day, no wind, no good if you're trying to dry your washing. Just way over to Northern Ireland. For Northern Ireland, cloudy basically for all of you this afternoon, but it will stay dry. Later on, here and there, the glimpse of the sun might just come through, if you're very lucky. Pace myself back. Northwest of England, again, we've got this sheet of cloud over here. There's hardly any wind. You can't see from the toupee blowing today. So a calm, quiet day. Must say, happy birthday to Kerry Blair's 16th for Deganwy in North Wales. Right, crossing over the Pennines, again, must have some view from this side, quite a lot of cloud around, but basically a dry, maybe just the odd coastal shower, that's the thing. For East Anglia, well, you've got a little bit of brightness at the moment. The cloud is gradually going to spread down. It's a thin layer of cloud, but it will start coming down. Into Wales, North Wales, quite a bit of cloud. But as we head further into South Wales, brighter weather this afternoon. Probably later on, the cloud will move in, and probably Pembroke will be the only area that will stay sort of reasonably sunny. And again, temperature's not very high. For the Midlands, basically a dry afternoon. Must say happy birthday to Mark Thorley from Stoke-on-Trent, but a lot of cloud around as well. With the south of Britain, a few showers affecting coastal areas. As we come inland, certainly okay. Probably the best place to be today is down in the southwest, especially the North Devon coast. And happy birthday to Ian Burgess from Birmingham. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Fred. We've now got some extraordinarily good news for Mrs. Thatcher. The results of today's phone poll. You remember we asked you if you'd be happy to adopt the écu and do away with the familiar pound sterling. Well, we had nearly 7,000 calls, and 26% of you, a mere 26% of you said yes, and a massive majority, 74%, said no. So if Mrs. Thatcher's watching, I should imagine that's one of the best things you've heard all week.
Yes, I don't think she will be watching. Rather busy life.
She might.
She might be, you never know.
The Queen probably is.
Yes, because tomorrow the Queen is presiding over the annual state opening of Parliament. Any televisions on in the palace, switch them off if you want to keep your job. The question that we asked earlier was, could the Queen do with a makeover? Now, we've had a little go, so let's take a look at the Queen's new look, please. Now, I like that.
Leslie.
Yes.
The lady responsible for it. What do you think?
Well, I think it's, well, we both think it's actually really rather wonderful. It's a business suit, if you like, for her walkabouts. We've changed the shoulder line, so as you see that it's so much rounder and more modern. We've given her a blouse which she never wears and a skirt which she never wears.
Yeah.
So it's all rather different for her.
It's power dressing.
It is very much so, without the great pads in the shoulder.
Yes. Would you like to come down
and the colour's
take
very
a seat
subdued,
here?
but you see, I think she could have more fun with fabrics like this. This is very in fashion, this sort of rather tapestry.
Well, what do you think, Van?
I think it's incredible. I love it. I love the feel of the change.
Yes. Do you like this sort of tailored style instead of the much sort of looser coats? And
Yes, I do, and particularly the material, which is very light. You know, a lot of material is very heavy, and when you're older and you've got a little bit more fat on you, you don't really need anything that's terribly tight and heavy.
Yes.
No, I love it. I love the change. I love the material and the colour. I think that, you know, it's superb.
It is. I must say, well done, Leslie. I mean, you took the challenge seriously. I mean, this wasn't just a giggle.
Oh, no.
And it looks pretty good.
I have to say that is a suit that came from her favourite store, so she could buy it for £285, so it's not a fortune.
No, I think she might be able to manage
The
that.
civil list would run to that.
Especially getting a sort of a royal outing, I think. But we have to talk about the hair as well and the makeup. Lee, we bring in our very own makeup and hair designer. Right, go on. Now, you've definitely modernised her.
Yes, I've still kept a structured look because of the look that she actually likes to go for. But I've left I would like to have taken the back shorter, but with Jeanette not wanting it shorter. But the whole effect is still quite strong round here. The hair's back off the face so the public can actually see her. That's why she never wears a fringe or anything like that. I think the whole thing is a lot softer and a lot more stylish.
You've also taken away the blue eyeshadow.
Yes.
What have you done with the makeup there, apart from that? I mean, that's the obvious change.
Not too much, because the makeup at the moment, especially the kind the Queen wears, is very simple. And so it looks really quite good, but I'm not really into blue eyeshadow. I've just softened I put peach actually on the eyelids because it brings those piercing blue eyes out even stronger. Yeah. And just slightly soften the lipstick, also taking into the account of the suit. and the colour and everything. And that's basically it. But it's just a softer look.
Would you just, Mum, would you just turn your head to the window so we can see the side of your head there? I think it's a bit more. That's really nice. That's a really nice... I was going to say cut, but you've got away with actually not taking a single strand off
Yeah,
the
it's
scissors.
just pushing it into shape, really.
Yeah,
just changing the look.
Yeah. I think this does make a serious point. I mean, you know, there are... I think that the Queen, yourself, your good lady self, would in fact look much younger, much more stylish if she did take a little bit more care with her hair and perhaps do a little bit, you know, try and make herself look a little bit more young. But do you? I mean, it's your living, Jeanette, because...
Jeanette Charles.
Let us say Jeanette Charles. Yes, I mean, not the real Queen.
Let's get away.
To come up, I'm afraid. But, I mean, you are a royal look-alike. Would you like her to change slightly, or would that worry you? Would you hate...
I don't think she ever will change. I mean, if you think of the tours, of the visits, of her everyday work that she has to do, for example, hats. She has a little ring of curls around here for her hats to nestle into. Now, she is not a fashion model, she is a queen, and I think, although I love it, I absolutely love it myself. I feel younger, I feel great. I mean, it's marvellous to have somebody as wonderful as Lee to do my hair.
Yeah.
But I don't think we will ever see the Queen change. I think she makes herself look much older than she needs to. I really do. I think she could have a lovely hairstyle that would flatter her, and I think everybody would adore it.
Yes, I agree with you. I think if she had a hairstyle like that and clothes like that, it would be a sensation. Although I suppose at the end of the day, it doesn't matter at all, does it? Because she's the Queen that we love and,
she is. I mean,
we expect to see.
The other thing is that would people recognise her? Jeanette was saying earlier that everybody sees her the way she is and recognises her. Little children know immediately that she has this style of her own.
Well, thank
Well,
you.
we love her dearly, and I don't suppose for a minute she was watching, but if she was, thanks for being a good sport. That's it for today. Thank you very much, Jeanette. Tomorrow, tune in for The Real Thing, Her Majesty the Queen and the state opening of Parliament. Our cameras will be at Westminster Live, and to give the show a right royal feel, we've got an exclusive look at the Crown Jewellers Garage.
And we just had a message, Lee Din and Leslie, can you get down to the palace? You have an appointment this afternoon, 4 o'clock. Now, actually, Leslie Efforts will be meeting the Duke of Norfolk, the man with the job of organising the whole ceremony tomorrow, not to mention the Queen's Silver Jubilee and Charles and Di's wedding.
And we'll also be joined by Lady Victoria Latham and the editor of Majesty magazine, Ingrid Seward. So, see you then. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See you tomorrow. Well,
Are you feeling under the weather? Are you feeling bored or listless? There's only one known cure. What you need is Medics, soon on Central. It's a lifesaver.
There's live European football on Central this Wednesday night at 7:20, so make a note that Coronation Street is earlier tomorrow night at 7:10.